fuck is McClay?
Sir.
Okay. It's episode 16.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Eric Hula. The Bogcast, episode 16, Eric Hula.
The Bogcast, episode 16, Eric Hula.
You made a frame and all? No.
Okay.
The Bogcast, episode 16. Eric Hula. You like that frame, right, McClay?
Yeah.
Except for Oompa's ass. And if you could just do that into that camera.
To this one?
Yeah, just get that in the frame.
Episode 16, Eric Hula.
Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. You good on sound?
Yep, good. Action.
All right, this is the Bogcast. Excuse me. Episode 16. We have a very special guest in the house. I'm joined with my two best friends and co-hosts, Brian McClay and Jason Oompa Howell. How you guys doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm
Doing good.
We're rocking our Strong Heart Jiu-Jitsu t-shirts from our last guest. They're badass, proud to represent a homies Jiu-Jitsu Academy located in North Phoenix. Just hit up strongheartacademy.com. So,
Yes, sir.
but before I introduce our next guest, I just thought, like usual, we'd start out with a little jam, rock out for a
I'm
minute.
down. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so hang on a second. Still practicing. You guys hear that?
Yeah.
Fucking click. Oh shit. Can you guys guess who this is?
Look in the room.
Fuck yeah. Listen to this next riff.
Turn it up a little bit more.
Pans. See how it's panning? Fucking bad. That's how brittle this next riff is.
They actually played at Joe's Grotto, Eric.
Oh, did they?
I didn't mix them, but I worked the show. Me and Keith were there.
When was that?
When was that? 2015?
No, probably like
2016?
16 or 17.
Bad.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was a huge fanboy the whole time. We got to do a shot with the singer. It's sick.
They've been around for a while, right?
Oh yeah.
I was we had an X32 over there, Behringer X32 board.
Okay, yeah.
And I was trying to save the sound guy's mix without him knowing because he's like, I don't want anything saved. And I was like, how am I going to save this?
Ah.
Because, like, you know, it sounded so good.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I want to use this plate. You
Is
know?
that like a thing within sound guys? Like,
I was just about to ask that. I think Rebel,
Absolutely.
like Grin.
I don't like anybody
sound guy
touching
there.
my mix. Or
but
like,
you're about to steal his?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, that's how a good thief gets better.
That's right.
True that.
It's the tooth.
Oh, yeah.
That's how a good tooth gets better.
Well, I'm actually I think I say this every time, but I am really excited for this next guest because I really want this podcast to be an outlet for bands and musicians, and musicians are actually like my favorite people to hang out with. I love talking to them. I feel like I have the most in common with them. So I'm really excited to announce Eric Hula. He's in a band, Weirdradicals. He plays guitar. He's also in another band called, I already forgot. I hit like the dab 3 times. I'm sorry, dude. But you said Sun.
I used to be in a band called Sunshower.
Sunshower,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I remember you showing me videos when we worked on that video
right,
together.
yeah.
And I was
So
like,
you can
this
check
guy's-
them out on YouTube? Or, like, you
Yeah, we got
videos
some
up?
videos up
Okay.
there still.
Yeah. And Weird Radicals you
Weird
can see on
Radicals is
YouTube,
Weird Radicals
too,
Spotify, Pandora,
Everywhere, yep.
I've seen that you can get your music anywhere, really, right? So
Yes, sir.
oh yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit, man. Did you just recently join them? Were you on the Weird Radicals when I met you?
I was actually, yeah, I was. I joined last January, so
Okay.
I've been in for almost a year and a half now.
Nice.
I had left a couple bands that I was in at the time. Sunshower was kind of like on its way out, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was playing bass in a band called Golden Goat, and I knew I just wanted to get back on guitar. Weird Radicals said they were looking for a guitar player, and they were also they were planning to part ways with their drummer at the time, and me and Matt Van Gelder, he was the drummer of Golden Goat. We joined Weird Radicals at the same time together. So
Oh, nice.
we've been on this Weird Radicals 2.0 since last January.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what are like some? It sounds like you've had a lot of experience being different in bands and things like that. And I've been in bands myself. So like, what are some of the hard things about being in a band? Some of the struggles, like keeping it together, and especially for like younger kids who are just starting out wanting to start a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you've probably been through a lot of shit, seen a lot of shit. Like what?
Yeah.
What are some of the struggles, man? Like not necessarily in Weird Radicals, but in some of the other bands. Like what's hard about keeping a band together?
Dude, the biggest thing is dealing with your own pettiness and not letting that infect something, that it starts like a fucking grain of salt, right? And it turns into this mountain when it could have easily been solved, and then next thing you know, best friends or worst enemies
Yeah,
just
dude.
over bullshit. Like
That's
it
a
happens
great
all
thing
the time,
to say.
dude.
That
Yeah.
The thing
blew me
is,
away
though-
that you said that first.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
that like
That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the biggest struggle for sure.
But the thing is the funny thing that you say that is that's recognizing yourself. But sometimes you're in a band with somebody who doesn't recognize that, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean.
it's
And-
crazy.
and you're already in it, and
Yep.
it sucks. So yeah, that is a huge point, man. So
It's something that a lot of people don't learn.
Yeah.
I gotta check
very
this light really
easy.
quick.
They that usually seems to destroy a few bands, and
Yeah, definitely.
to get to the point where you learn that you've lived it. And it's also important that if you've lived it and you haven't been that person, or both, whatever, that you learn from that mistake.
Right. Exactly.
And you know what? That's fucking anywhere though, man.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
anywhere.
Any group environment where
Yes.
you're working together, especially with creative minds, where it's
Yes.
art, you're so protective of your art. Like if it's your lyrics on somebody else's riff, that could be something beautiful, but it could also be recipe for disaster because what if things clash, and what if it just if it doesn't pan out how one person expects it to, it could create this plateau of where nothing's getting done.
You're talking about the band, the songs, or just everything?
Just everything,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
I mean, I think the good
Thank you, Boo.
good parts of being in a band outweigh the bad
For sure.
by a landslide, but that main struggle is probably it's easy to fall into that kind of wormhole of negativity when you didn't really have to let it in, from the start.
What's it like being somebody that is coming from an outside into a new band? Like when you joined the New Radicals, it was you and a drummer. How
Yeah.
many people were old school, part of the old school original set there that you were joining?
So at the time, it was Andrew Cameron Klein is the lead singer. Nick Florence was the lead guitar player. We're kind of co-lead guitar players right now because we love like Thin Lizzy and all that shit. So we do a lot of harmonized lead riffs over the riff, whatever. And at the time, our buddy Ryan was playing bass. So we were trying to figure out what the best stage lineup was going to be when I joined, because at the time Andrew, we call him Drew, he was singing and playing guitar, so we were kind of doing a 3-guitar thing. Then he decided to put the guitar down, and we just did 2 guitars, bass, drums, and him on vocals. Then ultimately it was decided that Drew wanted to play bass on his songs, and Ryan wanted to do his own thing for a while. So it was kind of like a mutual separation
Change,
there too.
yeah.
It's all good, and now we're just a 4-piece, like the Thin Lizzy formation. Drew's on bass and lead vocals, and I'm doing co-vocals with him, and then we're just doing 2 lead guitar players and a drummer. So
That's badass.
yeah, it's
Very
just like
cool.
a straight
Real
up,
cool, man.
like late 70s, early 80s rock band formation, but we play like garage rock, so it's like 60s-esque Beatles influenced rock and roll songwriting, pop rock, but with kind of like a, you can tell we listen to a lot of Megadeth too. Yeah, so it's fun.
Oh yeah, man.
Another AZ band,
What? Oh, Megadeth.
Megadeth.
Yep.
A lot of AZ dudes. Yeah.
Was this an audition? Did you have to go in to do, or
In a way,
you kind of just jam with them, or how does that
Everything's
work?
probably like an audition at that point, right?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes they have scheduled auditions. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Where you
yeah.
go in and you just try a bunch of people out, and
Yeah, Drew did put out kind of like a post saying, hey, we're thinking about adding another guitar player if you're interested. Drew was a big supporter of Sunshower, and he would come to the shows, and he did a lot of articles about us too. So we already had a friendship that was already in motion for a while, and
Makes
we would
it a
always
little
talk.
bit easier to slide in and not have any issues right off the bat.
Yeah. And we just had a lot of mutual interests, and we would talk to each other about what's going on in our bands and what's working, what isn't working, like. And so when Weird Radicals came together, this version, it was kind of like, okay, we all know what we want to do, and we're not. There's no bullshit in this. It's very transparent in like what our goals are and how well we're willing to work with each other. So it was just a very like-minded environment, and we've been, going strong ever since. Everything that we've done with this band since me and Matt joined, not saying that we're the cause of this, but it was just kind of like a culmination of good energy, I think. And
just everyone has a lot of ambition, and
exactly.
when that clicks, then things start fucking happening.
As soon as some of that kind of negativity arises, or that pettiness, whatever that we all deal with, we we stare it in the face, and we realize what's going on, and then we just fucking put it away, get over it, because we're just gonna
It's
move
kryptonite.
forward. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There doesn't need to be any issues that we can't just get past and just move forward. Let's do the next thing. You know what I mean? It's gonna get better as it goes, and it has.
That's
So,
a huge
yeah.
attitude for a band to have to be successful. I mean, you almost have to have that attitude,
Oh,
so
yeah.
is it like when something comes up, you guys have like a band meeting, or like how do you guys
We're
address that?
constantly in
group text
group
or-
text. Yeah, constantly in conversation, just kind of throwing ideas, or we practice over at Perfect Timing, where
I love
where
that
we
fucking place, dude.
yeah,
That's a hidden
where we
gem.
filmed that video. Yeah, it's awesome.
I almost don't talk about it on here because he doesn't even promote it. Because like,
that's right. He doesn't need to.
Yeah,
It's
he
just-
doesn't need to. But it's just a badass band rehearsal facility that I didn't know about. I'm just accustomed to the standard Francisco Studios and Argo and all that. But there's a few other ones that are pretty badass.
Yeah, Perfect Timing's awesome, man. So we practice there, and when we schedule a 3-hour practice, A, we're paying for the time. B, we know what we want to do with the time, and then we just get it done. And, we have a few beers along the way, talk about what we've done, talk about what we want to do, and then it's basically like we've decided that we want it to be centered around friendship and having a good time more than, oh, we didn't get on this show. Oh, we didn't, we're not touring yet. Oh, we don't have the record done. It's like, no, we're going to play music and we're going to enjoy it first. And then we're going to worry about all that shit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. What's some of the most fun that you have being in a band? Is it the writing process, just practicing, playing live, recording what you've written? Like, where do you find yourself having the most fun being in a band? For me personally, it's writing.
Okay.
Like when I'm with because I was in a band with him, and like when we're just writing stuff, and I love like when you have the riffs and you start arranging it and figuring out what's going to be where. Like that's personally my favorite part. But like where do you have fun in being in a band?
Shows, man.
Shows, live shows. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Hell
When I'm
yeah.
on a stage and the songs that we've written and everything we put together, I like to put on a show. I like to be in front of a crowd. I like to, because guitar, I became a guitar player because I couldn't skate. I was too clumsy to skate with my friends.
Yeah, me too.
And so I had been around my dad, who was a guitar player, and so when I realized I kind of had this knack for picking up these notes, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna play guitar. And then I could play guitar better than all my friends at the time, so it's like that was my thing,
Mm-hmm.
So
You just knew that was your calling.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Because you even do that as a day job now too, right?
Yeah, I do.
You
Bizarre Guitar, man.
Work at the
7th
most
Ave.
legendary guitar shops here in Phoenix.
Yeah, it's wild working there, man. Crazy stories from the past.
Oh, really?
Crazy shit, yeah.
Well, you got any?
Well,
good share?
Bob Turner, in the 70s, I think it was like 75 or 74, he was selling guitars out of his apartment, and he had, at the time, the 1959 Les Paul was like one of the most sought after model guitar, and it was worth like $100,000 at the time. Now they have reissues and stuff that's like $6,000, but in the 70s, 1959 Les Paul was like the most expensive guitar out there, and he had like 2 or 3 of them, and he sold one to Kiss in his apartment.
Wow.
Yeah. And he sold those guitars, and he was able to open the store from there.
That's fucking
Became
cool.
a fucking
Shit.
millionaire.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
He was like a gangster, dude.
How did
in
he
the
get
town.
those guitars?
I don't know. I don't know the full story. I could be wrong. Maybe he sold it to Kiss later, but that's my understanding of what I've heard
Yeah.
this whole time. Like, there's so many just legendary, things you hear about a guitar store. But in the 70s and 80s, everybody fucking played guitar, dude. Like, that was the thing. And like in the 90s, rock and roll was king. And it's, the guitar is just a chunk of wood with strings on it, but something about it's just like, it's so enticing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To this day.
When you say everyone's playing guitar in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and all that, you don't feel like nowadays?
I was actually going to talk
not
about
as many
that.
people, kids are playing guitar.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
feel
it
like?
doesn't.
One
before you
actually,
answer-
one
Yeah.
thing that's interesting that you said to me a while ago. I don't know if it was your cousin or something was over at your house, and he was like tapping, and you're like, "Oh, you want to play an instrument or play
Yeah.
the drums?" And he's like, "No, instruments are lame."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What?"
Yeah, I
And he
couldn't
wanted to
believe it.
like play like computer or like beats and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, he
And
was-
then I was like, "Wow, instruments, guitar's dead. I'm a guitar player."
He was
Yeah.
young. He
So-
was young.
So
I think
called
he's
it
like
then,
14.
years ago.
No, I
When
don't
I-
think
when-
that.
when
I
I
don't
said
think that. I think
guitars-
that's just one guy. I think guitar will live on.
No,
actually.
I do think guitar will live on.
You say
but-
that now because your son plays that, but before your son played that, you talked so much shit about playing guitar.
No, I really didn't talk shit. I didn't talk shit. This is what I said. I said nowadays, with music, no one cares about live music. And
That's exactly what I was gonna
And I
say.
said guitar now is obsolete. Everybody wants to push buttons.
Yes.
I wasn't
get a
hating
guitar sound.
I wasn't hating guitar at all.
Yeah, there's a little hating connotation.
No, not at
to
all.
it. Oh yeah.
No.
I'm glad my son is playing guitar.
I'm going to back you a little bit on that because
But that's how I feel. I mean, I feel like, a 5-piece bass guitar is really not what people want these days. I know there's people there, but I feel like even on the radio, it's kind of pushing that out. It's all more electronic, and that's just.
So
how I
even the
feel.
radio's dated. I mean, every station is just playing the same rehashed playlist since like '95.
Yes,
dude.
and
It's like
I'm just
and
so
if
sick of it.
Yeah, it's there's still rock and roll stations out there. There's still a station that even plays heavier music, and yet they're playing the same fucking Disturbed song.
Yes.
That we've been hearing since 2008.
Yeah. What were we just
That was
talking
last
about that?
episode. Just last episode, we were talking about it's
but
just we've all heard the same riff from a lot of bands.
Yeah.
I feel like I won't hear a new riff and a new pattern. I feel like I've heard so much music that I've heard it, and you know what I mean.
But that makes it so much better when every once in a while somebody shows you an amazing band. It doesn't
Right.
have whatever.
That's why it's
yeah.
hard. It's hard for I'm listening to stuff from early 2000s.
Yes.
I can't hear.
I'm the same way.
I haven't found anything from like 2000 to now that's caught my fancy. I mean, Within the Ruins, great guitar player. You know what I mean? It's just
There's very few bands. I agree with you. I agree. But here's the thing.
like when we were. Go ahead, sorry.
When you guys were talking about what's the best part about playing in a band,
Yeah.
and you were talking about writing and how you guys were the best part was when the band was writing, and then you talked about shows. Those two things are what you got so happy about Adam are near death, and it's exactly what Upa was saying. So many kids, they don't have to go pay money for a practice spot.
Yeah.
They just put on a pair of headphones, they get a guitar sound on Fruity Loops or some creation machine, button pushing thing. And if they want to have their friend join, they put on another pair of headphones and they can make a little voice,
Well,
out
that's
of
how
their
they
closet.
play guitar.
And
they
that's
play guitar on the computer, on the keyboard.
Exactly. And I agree. I think it's sad, and that's why it's so important. It's kind of refreshing when bands like yours, come out and you start seeing that happen. And it's always funny how everything's cyclical. The style, the sound of music, right? So when we were growing
comes
up,
full circle,
yeah.
man. It does.
Aren't Jenkos coming back?
I don't know.
Jenkos?
Can't wait.
Jenkos?
Yeah, they're coming back. Can't
Probably,
wait.
Oh my God,
probably
dude.
like for
XJ9000.
meme purposes. you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
But,
Yeah.
The XJ9000s are coming back.
They never went on. What are you talking about? Those are always cool.
but I mean, like 80s aesthetic is huge right now.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean,
massive.
especially in like film.
Early 90s, yeah.
Yeah. But also like shit like Stranger Things, that's like 80s, straight out of the 80s. But it's also bringing back kind of that, I don't know,
Nostalgia
for us, but it shows a different time for kids now where it's like,
Yes.
oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Well, it's
They
probably like
had-
how when we were
they
growing
could
up
ho-
looking at the
they,
60s.
they held these little things that had songs on it. It was, cassette
Yeah,
tape,
yeah,
and that looks probably cool to them. I don't know. Maybe it's just cool to me because I like that shit. But
yeah.
No, that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. Everybody, you look back. I mean, the same thing with like, our parents growing up. They would listen to the shit we were listening to, be like, I can't listen to this. This is garbage, this and that. And so I was just shitting on a band earlier that I always hear on the fucking radio that just drives me crazy because I get tired of hearing them and I think it's garbage, but they're one of the biggest bands out. And you're just like,
It's sad.
So then you realize you're old, or
it's sad that you realize you're old. You're right.
yeah,
That is basically it, because our tastes have totally flipped, right? It's really amazing to see how the change in taste
Well,
of
I don't
everything,
know
not
if
just music.
Yeah, but the other thing that
movies,
changes too is
clothes.
the ambition of finding music. Because I remember when we were teenagers in our 20s, we were way more ambitious to try to find
Go to
music than we
Zia.
are now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
couldn't wait for that CD to drop.
Yeah,
I feel like I
could
still
not
am.
wait.
I feel like I
you
should
take
go-
off
Yeah.
Tuesday mornings.
Well,
from
I feel
school
like
to
I
go
still
get-
am, but there is, for me, there is no band out there that has like, for my genre, like my age, I'm saying like when Deftones came out, they blew me. There hasn't been a band like something like that.
Oh, I get yeah.
That
When was the last band that did that? Dredge,
Dead by Sunrise,
which is
Chester's band, Orgy.
which is crazy that you say that, because
And I heard them 9 years after they made that album.
yeah, and
I'm
that's how it
blown away
usually
by-
happens. Yeah.
When I
My progression was Nirvana, then
60s.
Deftones, Korn. Well,
Okay.
then I went through, for sure the
Black Sabbath,
Black
Led
Sabbath
Zeppelin.
era, but that was more like guitar purposes, and respecting, genre music. But I'm talking about where that music was already out. I'm talking about something that was new that totally just blew me away. You know what I mean? And changed, like, wow, what the fuck? So it was Nirvana, then probably Deftones, Korn,
Yeah.
then
all three for me.
then Sepultura,
Stone Temple Pilots for me too.
then Far,
Yep.
and
Far
then
is
Dredge
the
and
game
Dead Sea.
changer. Yeah, Far is.
I
the
thought
game
Dead Sea
changer.
was gonna change the world.
Yeah,
I thought
they kinda died
so
off.
too. Dead Sea, like they blew me away too, just because.
But I don't think there's bands since then that were like Nirvana or Deftones where I was just blown up.
You know what? It's
completely.
because of what Eric said though.
Yeah.
Here's the other crazy thing, right? We used to go find new music at Zia. We would go to Zia
and just search
and listen to what what was playing. And
Yeah.
if you looked in your favorite band's thank you notes and you saw a band that you didn't normally
Or the
know,
stickers on their guitar.
you'd
like,
go, okay, I'm gonna go check that band.
Well, not
out,
just
right?
that, but who they thanked in their booklet.
That's what I mean.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
just saying that.
real
Sorry.
quick, I got a shout out. Not a shout out, but how did we even find Nothing Face?
Probably either Mike or
But
It was Mike. It was 100%
how?
Mike.
Pat
I
It was
remember,
Pat Nevey.
I remember
That's who it
hearing
was. It was Pat
Pacifier,
Nevey.
and I was like, but anyway, the reason why I
Everyday
bring that up,
Atrocity was the first one I heard.
I just found out that the singer died of
Yeah.
cancer
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Fuck
like
cancer.
I remember, like our era, we had to do like leg work.
Yes.
Like
Are you guys all the same age?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
How
we're
old are you
older
guys?
than.
Yeah. Just about 40.
He's almost
Oh,
50,
really?
but
I'm
like
43.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old are you?
27.
Oh
Okay.
damn!
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna be
you're like,
21.
what the fuck?
Wow.
This is old
Gnarly.
people podcast.
Yeah, so
Can I tell you the first time I ever heard the Deftones though? Ever? Do you know what this is?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was at Bad Lookins. We what do you call that? Where he lived at?
He lived like in a trailer.
Yeah, in the trailer. Yeah,
the trailer park.
I'll never forget sitting a part of the trailer. Remember how the other guy was like, he always heard of Oompa, but he was always went there and you were gone.
Oh yeah.
That's how it was for me for like 2 years too. Like that was for everybody. Like, who the fuck is this Oompa guy? And sure as shit, you're coming over. I'm like, wow, Oompa's coming over finally. And he rolled up in fucking Holly's car. I think she had he had the rag top down, I think. And you were bumping the Deftones, but you said it was your new breakout.
I know.
Busted.
But no, I
was 5 years young. I was like 12. He was like 20, and I was blown away.
Hey,
I was like, "Whoa, this guy's bad as fuck. This is
so
amazing."
I went like this. He goes, "Who is this?" And I go, "It's our new album." And he's looking at me, and I go, "Yeah." And he's like, "For real?" And I go, "Yeah." No.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. No, you did right there.
You didn't drove
Oh.
off. I actually thought that for like a month. Anyway,
That's BS.
yeah, you're changing the story.
You're just playing it now for the podcast.
So hold on.
I came clean right then and there. I remember that.
No.
So that we talked. That's basically a lot of our progression into music. I mean, because we all grew up together.
Liar.
How did your progression get
I
you
wore
to
this
playing the
first.
music that you're playing now?
Oh, cool. Okay, so I started
needed
playing
that.
guitar. Like I started getting into like riffs because of Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
And I started taking lessons shortly after that. But I mean, my dad bought me the Black Album.
Was he a fan? It was just like, you got to
No,
check this guy's out.
he actually, I was already on a Beatles kick for a long time because they had that infomercial for Beatles 1.
Yeah.
And it was like the greatest hits or whatever. And so I was like, hey, Dad, you know, can I get some Beatles CDs? He's like, you want some Beatles CDs? My dad is a Beatles guy, like through and through. And he didn't even have to show me their music for me to love it. So the Beatles was a big thing, but I started getting into the heavier music once I heard, I think it was Enter Sandman. I think it was like on a VH1 countdown,
That's
video
fucking crazy.
countdown.
Think about that.
And I was like, whoa, that's cool. Like these guys are like playing in like dark rooms and there's like, strobe
Strobes.
lights. And like, he looks so bad. He's like tough. And I was like a big Bruce Lee fan. So I loved like, like tough shit. And my dad was like, yeah, Metallica's cool. He really liked the Black Album because it was more when they started transitioning to more like rock
Melodic,
and roll.
yeah. Melodic, heavy shit.
So yeah, he bought me that album. And then in 7th grade, I saw a picture of Slipknot. And it scared the shit out of me, and so I got obsessed with Slipknot. And I've always
Good band
kind
to get obsessed
of
with.
gravitated towards stuff that really scared me because I didn't want to be scared of it anymore. And so I got into Slipknot, and then after that, it was started going towards more hardcore stuff. I started hearing bands that were like Bleeding Through, Norma Jean, that all these kids in camo shorts and black shirts, and they were going and beating each other up at shows. And I was like, I kind of want to check that out. So I started going to hardcore shows when I was like 14, and then
Did you grow up in Arizona? Where'd you
I did.
grow up?
I'm born and raised Phoenix,
Okay.
yeah. And then I went to Moon Valley High School.
Cross street from Boogie Music, huh?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I met, I saw this guy wearing a Knights of the Abyss shirt, and I was like, oh, I know that band. So I added him on MySpace. His name was Tyler. He's one of my best friends, growing up. And he hit me up. He's like, hey, I see you play guitar. Do you want to play guitar in our band? And he was like a junior. They were all seniors. I didn't know anybody at the school. I was a new kid, and I was like, are they like planning to beat me up or something? Like, why do they want me, this fucking freshman kid, to play guitar? So I showed up, and I was able to jam with them, and they liked me, and then started playing in hardcore shows, mainly death metal at the start, and then the whole deathcore thing happened, and then I finally figured out, hardcore was a lot more punk oriented, and I got more into the punk side of hardcore, and it was a band called Reasons for almost a decade. And Reasons and Sunshower kind of coincided for a long time. Same members at one point, and then both kind of ended at the same time. Tried to bring stuff back here and there, but it was just the right decision to kind of part ways for the time. So
Yeah.
that was kind of like a very vague journey through what I've been doing. But
Yeah, your progression.
yeah, and then now I'm back to playing rock and roll because I just, growing up in hardcore, I did like it because it scared me, and I did like it because, it was tough and crazy, but I don't know, there's just a point when, like, I want to play a show where, you know, that girl over there doesn't have to worry about getting punched in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want people to be able to dance and have a good time, and not that like hardcore shows, not to rag on it because I still have love for hardcore. I mean, it taught me so much, and I still have a lot of friends in it, but I want to play a show where, you know, everybody just doesn't have to worry about anything, and they just get to like listen to this fucking dope riff I just wrote.
Yeah.
You know?
I get that totally, man.
I think you get to a certain age and you realize, especially with music, you realize that good music is good music. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And a lot of
Yeah.
people who are into like really heavy music and hardcore or punk kind of gravitate towards more melodic stuff as they get to a certain age. And that doesn't mean that old shit's not good anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It just means that, you know, you change your, you know, as you get older, you kind of,
The palette, it expands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But to kind of bring back the whole like rock and roll and guitars and stuff like isn't really relevant. I recently went to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, and I'm happy to say that rock and roll is alive.
Fuck
and
yeah,
well.
dude. You guys played
badass.
there, or you just
Yeah.
went there
Yeah.
to see shit? Or?
We played 4 shows.
Oh,
in
wow,
Austin.
dude.
man, that's good, man.
It was
Congratulations.
dope, dude. It's like, imagine going to the biggest and best party you've ever been to. Everybody's in a band. Everybody gets to play, and they're all from, you know,
Different
separate
parts
parts
of
of
the-
the world.
yeah.
Of the world, even from Britain to Japan and you know Austin, obviously, but all over the United States and it was all, you know, all the showcases we played had a lot of mixed genres, but it all kind of boiled down to like the garage rock kind of movement that started like I don't know. I mean, it's a lot influenced from like 60s rock that just kind of has more of a punk element to it. People like Ty Segall, the OCs, stuff like that. We're
There's
on
a band called the OCs.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Just check them out. They're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Are you talking about
Guys,
because of
I have to-
Oxycontin?
I have to take off, guys.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, you're good.
I'm sorry, guys.
you're
all
good.
good.
it's all good.
All right, bro. I really appreciate all the help today, man.
Yeah, man, no problem. I wish I could stay and stuff.
How can I get that out?
I'm gonna take this opportunity to vote for my good friend Wade Coda on American Idol.
Oh, he's on American Idol.
Voting is live.
Oh shit, I forgot about
Great
that.
meeting you,
Yeah,
man.
you too, Eric.
Yeah,
Thanks,
take
man.
care.
I wish I could stay, dude.
It's all good.
So let's
I
talk
can bring my
about.
son in real quick, right? Over at Boogie Music.
Yeah,
He's
dude,
just
do it.
started-
No, not
Yeah.
Boogie Music.
I mean, sorry, not Boogie Music. but
Bizarre.
Bizarre.
Bizarre guitar.
I'll
yeah.
edit the Boogie Music part out, bro.
Yeah, edit that out.
No, I got love for Boogie Music.
I'm just playing, bro. I'm just playing. I do too.
That's him?
Yep. You can vote 10 times on each platform. This is the website. There's also an app, and then you got to text 6 to 21523 10 times.
Tonight.
Yep.
Is he
So
from here?
Yeah.
He's
He's
one
top
of my
8.
best friends.
Wow.
Yeah. Went to Mill Valley High School. We lived together for a while.
Nice.
Yeah. I taught him everything he knows.
Yeah, make sure you get that in.
All right, bro.
Okay,
Brother.
Drive safe, man.
I will.
So
Once
he's
again, thanks, man. Pleasure.
top 8 in the American Idol right now.
Yeah,
or?
top
Where's
8,
that?
That's fucking
dude.
amazing.
That is crazy, man.
It is
You know,
gnarly.
it's finally awesome to have. I mean, not that we haven't before, but just more representation from Phoenix. You know what I mean? 'Cause,
It's there. It's just that a lot of people don't talk about it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that are born and raised in Arizona and are from here, but they don't talk about it.
But you know
like
what's
other
cool
places.
about a show like that is, or just with anything, like say sports or whatever, like everything just, when you watch it on TV, it doesn't seem real. And then say you go to a game, like a football game, like
Yes.
you're like, wow, this actually, they really do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So say American Idol, for example, it's like, this doesn't seem real. This is all fake. And then all of a sudden, someone from Phoenix that like, I'm Facebook friends with them, so I don't know how that happened, but like it's just crazy.
He's
just,
great friends with Jesse LaBelle.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
how. It's probably from the
Yeah.
the video that we did. Oh yeah, I got it, bro. I got you, fam. And anyway, it's just cool. So when that happens, and then all of a sudden on Facebook, you see everyone just excited, like, wow, this is a real show. Like for someone from Phoenix is on it. Like it just,
I didn't even know
It
that
just makes
somebody
it-
from Phoenix was on it
I
until
think
like a
it's
week ago.
I think
Yeah,
it's fucking
it's wild.
badass.
And that's just because I don't watch. I haven't had TV in forever, but it's cool just to hear about. I mean, just to get to that platform where everybody can see them worldwide.
yeah.
It's insane, man. Wade, he always knew. He never once doubted himself, which is like an amazing trait that is true about him. I mean, growing up, I mean, he's got an ego the size of fucking Texas, but I mean, which helps him, but he's also he's done a lot of he's always aspired to do better than the next thing, and 9 times out of 10 it would always be something way better than what he did before. He was always just progressing, and even at his lowest moments in life, he never ever fucking doubted himself that he was gonna get out of it. You know what I mean? And he was gonna go on to do shit, and look at him now. He's doing it.
That's super inspiring, dude.
Yeah.
What was he doing before American Idol? Was he in bands here in Phoenix? Or
He has a band called Sugar Water,
Okay.
but he started in metal in high school. He was in a band called Ministry, which was like, you know, they worshipped Exodus and stuff like that, like thrash and even some black metal kind of stuff, like Black Dahlia Murder. Brent Gutierrez was a guitar player in Ministry, and he was in Sunshine and Reasons for a little bit too. So we always kind of there is similar circles close by, and me and Wade actually became friends because we were both in metal bands, but we were also in high school theater too. So we were just these kind of oddballs. No matter where we were at, we weren't 100% this or that. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to hardcore shows.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of everything. Yeah,
exactly. I'm going to hardcore shows where guys are beating the shit out of each other or beating up somebody who really didn't deserve it. You know, and going to dangerous situations, and then I'm performing in a High School Musical the next day. You know, it's just like weird shit. But
that's fucking.
But we both shared that, and we've been friends, you know, ever since.
If there's something that I, if my kid, if I
had
had
watching my phone this entire time waiting to let you out.
I left my keys.
I wasn't. If I'm ever looking somewhere else when we're talking, it's not. I'm being rude.
No, you're good. You're good.
Sorry.
Oh, do you have like a buzzer out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's cool.
A little code.
Me
It's a
and
pain in the ass.
Me and my girlfriend Rachel, we're moving in a couple weeks over to Landmark Tower on Central and Camelback, 16th floor.
Oh, that's
Damn.
dope.
It's gonna be fucking crazy.
Is that a newer complex?
No, it's
older one.
It's pretty historic. It's like, you know, the light rail.
Oh, for sure.
Where it goes from Camelback and curves down
to
Central.
Oh, for sure.
And on that curve, it's just right there, just south of Camelback.
Where what's that coffee shop called?
Lux.
Well, not just Lux, but that really trendy one that causes all the fucking traffic jams there.
Dutch Bros.
Yeah, where everyone's super nice. Actually, I think they're shutting that one down.
Are they? Probably because of all the traffic problems.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the city is giving them the boot. But anyway, we've been neighbors forever, man.
I know,
you can
dude.
cruise by whenever here, man.
Yeah.
Like this is the podcast studio, but I'm also using it like for acting auditions, and then eventually I want to get electric drums in here and fuck around and do all kinds of crazy
Sweet.
shit. So, yeah, you can come over and hang out and fucking. I forgot that you live so close and shit.
Yeah, honestly, a fucking stone's throw, dude. I'm just on the other side of Indian School on 3rd Avenue.
It's pretty amazing.
I walk to work. Like.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty amazing how fast and downtown Phoenix has turned into a little hidden gem.
Dude, in the past like 6 years,
Yeah.
like 6 years ago, it was just a fucking flat plain. Now there's just buildings and venues. There's a new venue every week. A new bar just opened up across the street from Bazaar called Thunderbird Lounge, and it's like. The same owners as like Crescent and Valley Bar and all that. So,
wow.
Dude.
Across the street from Bazaar Guitar?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
It's gonna be my watering
That's
hole.
walking distance for me too.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so great. Is everything is so close.
It's crazy. It's just like you said, all the historic apartments, and then there's just crazy just pockets of new apartments coming up everywhere. So it's gonna be exciting to see what's in 5
there
years.
are good things to it. There are bad things to it, but I think it's
put it on vibrate. I'm just kidding. That's me. That's the whole buzzard. That's our sound camera guy. So now we're fucked. I'm just kidding.
Fuck.
No, but another thing I wanted to talk to you about, or you to talk to us about, is all the cool like open mics and shit that you do around town. Because I thought I saw one you doing also on 59th and Bell, but weren't you? That
was Wade's. That was Wade's open mic. While he's out of town, I'm hosting for him in his place.
Oh, so he hosts that one down there, and then I see. That's cool. Okay.
Where at?
59th Avenue in Bell.
So that's my old hood, dude. Like, he grew up on 51st and Union. I grew up on 55th and Union.
Word.
So
North Phoenix.
Yeah. No, Glendale.
Oh, Glendale.
Well, were you Phoenix or Glendale?
51st Avenue was the cutoff for Glendale, so I was right on the cutoff.
So you probably You probably were Phoenix with a Glendale mailing address.
Yes.
I bet, which is confusing because
I got to put Glendale even though I'm in Phoenix.
yeah. No, because I did that too. If you're right on the border of 51st.
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, some of the open mics. Did you do one down here, downtown, up the road on Indian School
At the Rebel Lounge,
Rebel Lounge, yeah.
previously known as the Mason Jar. I host the open mic night there. I've been doing that for about 2 years now, but Tim Finnegan's is special because it used to be off the 17 in Dunlap. Yeah, remember where that Toys R Us used to be?
Yeah,
Metro.
we were just talking about that.
It was in that same.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, and I'd been going to this open mic since I was 21, and I even played there when I was like 19. My friend Andreas hosted for a long fucking time, and then Wade picked it up after Andreas no longer hosted, and so Tim Finnegan's open mic has been a constant in my life since like in my adult life. It's kind of this thing that I can't seem to get away from, but I don't mind it. You know what I mean?
So when you had the opportunity to host it, you were like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, and they pay their talent very well, which is very cool because it's an incentive to keep it going. You know what I mean? And it helps. I mean, if you can cover a portion of somebody's bills for providing a service, and music is a service.
Creating community.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to Tim Finnegan, shout out to Rebel. I love them both. I've been doing Rebel for a while, mainly music, but there have been stand-up comedians coming in because I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy.
Me
so
too.
I've listening to podcasts, listening to Joey Diaz, listening to
my God, he's my
Joe
hero.
Rogan, all the stories about stand-up comedy life.
I love
It's
those
just
are my
fucking
favorites.
awesome.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. As a matter of fact, those are the artists I respect the most because I feel like they have the most balls because
big time
to get their material they have to just eat
Get
shit
on. Yeah.
more than any other art. You know what I mean? To fine tune it.
And I wanted to.
And I don't
celebrate
have
that.
I don't have those balls to do that.
Yeah.
But I love fucking Joey. I love Ari. I love hearing all those stories.
That
man.
journey it's a tough one, but I mean, if you just stick to it and you just get like music, like anything, if you want to do it, just do it and don't fucking stop.
Yeah.
Something that's
regular
cool.
people though think that just stand up. They just go up there and they're just rambling. They don't realize there's a year of bullshit that goes into figuring that shit out. Sorry, bro.
So, something that's really cool about stand up, the community is that is such a tight community that I don't think I've seen a tighter community in any other like genre of art than the stand-up community. Like, those guys become lifelong friends,
right?
But you have like 100 people at least.
It's like that jujitsu camaraderie. They just know. Comedians just know the shit they go through.
Oh, you're a comedian? Okay, we're cool.
Yeah.
We're right on. You know what I mean? Musicians kind of like that.
I heard it's like that now, but it didn't used to be. It was more competitive.
You're
back
exactly
in the day.
right. Yeah.
Now it's like we're in this together because
that's because Rogan, man, he made the comedy store
think
what
so.
it
Rogan
is, bro.
for president, man.
Yeah.
They have cameras going around the comedy store and they're filming like documentaries and shit. Like that's fucking badass.
Yeah. No, Joe Rogan's the man, and so is Joey Diaz, and anybody that Rogan vouches for, I fucking vouch for. Why not?
I got to meet that motherfucker at the comedy store.
No shit.
Last year. It was badass.
Right on.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I saw him, or no, I haven't seen him, but I said like when, past few years, obviously shit's been hitting the fan politically, and I thought I was, completely on one side, then, it starts kind of getting weird and like, I don't know. And I realized that, okay, it's okay to be somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
Like, and
you don't have
there
to
needs
pick
to
a
be
side.
encouragement on that.
Yeah.
And like Rogan fucking did that for me. And like, I don't have to pick a side.
Are you just talking
anymore.
about politically?
Well, yeah. Well, politically, but also just,
life in general,
socially, also,
yeah.
and
nothing in this world's black and white.
Exactly.
It's all in a gray
Dude, I'm not gonna
area.
lie to you. This sounds cheesy as fuck, but Rogan like really changed my life, and I owe it a lot to McClay. And I was coming out of a hard spot, just coming off some crazy shit that I was doing, and trying to figure out where I was at in life and all these things. And once I started listening to Rogan, he actually just inspired me just to be a better person, to defeat my inner bitch, his whole inner bitch thing that he talks about. Because I started committing to just working out and getting healthier and stuff. And I would wake up and be tired and just sleep longer and smoke weed and all these things. But once I implemented his inner bitch shit and still this day, I'll just listen to him, and he'll just say some motivating shit, and it'll get me to want to get my shit back together. You know what I mean?
Pumped up,
And
yeah.
he's just super inspiring and motivational, and so I owe a lot to him just as far as health and fitness wise, dude. Before Joe Rogan, I was the biggest I still am the biggest stoner, but like. Not gave a fuck about health, just eating fucking fast food constantly.
Yeah.
I was drinking fucking Jack Daniels constantly, just getting fucked up, just like. And now I have I don't do too much of anything. You know what I mean? That's bad for you. You know what I mean? I take care of myself. I work out, and I owe a lot to Joe Rogan, to be honest with you.
Dude, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And actually, McClay, because McClay got me on to Joe Rogan, and McClay got me to want to start this podcast. And as a matter of fact, McClay was listening to Rogan fucking probably episode within the first 100 episodes, huh?
Yeah. When he was doing it on
just with Red Band. He's he's been telling me to do this podcast, bro, for 10 years. Like, we got to do this pod. And I was like, what's a podcast, dude? Like, what the fuck? This is like 10 years ago.
It's like talk radio.
Yeah. And finally,
kill the car.
And then about 2016-ish, the beginning, I was probably when I really started diving into podcasts. Diaz, Ari, Rogan, and then that's when and then from there till now is what really inspired me to even want to do this podcast, because it's just about fun to hang out with friends and fucking get cool people in here and shit and talk about cool shit. So
absolutely, I was working in a cubicle for 4 years before I got the job at Bizarre. I got fired. My whole team got fired. It's bullshit. Whatever. Fuck corporate America. But podcasts, that's what got me through the day. And it's also like in a world where everything's just like there in the blink of a fucking eye and then it's gone. It's like this long form conversation platform is like, it's
cathartic.
It is. Yeah. 100%.
Well,
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to listen to podcasts since I started Bizarre because I'm always on my feet helping customers.
Funny
and
you're
stuff.
saying that because we were just talking before the show. He was like, "Hey, have you heard this episode of this reviews?" And I was like, "Man, I haven't been able because I haven't been working lately, and I haven't been able to listen to as much stuff because I used to listen to a lot of it when I was kind of working, like in the background, while I was doing my stuff.
I could type words while listening to them talk because with a song, I would always like focus on the song. I wouldn't be able to type. I wouldn't be able to work on the computer or read.
Yes.
But when I hear just people talking, I can read and I can type.
That's crazy that you say that, bro. Because I had a cubicle job too. I worked in insurance and shit, and I was fucking hating life.
Yeah.
But when I would listen to music, man, I'm a guitar player, but I love the drums more than anything. So I just have to I got to tap. I want an air drum, and I just focus on the drums. But and I can't focus on the work actually. So, but you're right, with podcasts, you could still kind of do your shit, absorb what they're saying. Yep. Also, the thing that makes you feel like you're there. You know what I mean?
You're hanging out. You're just hanging out with some friends while also just getting paid for this muscle memory bullshit.
It's like they're friends. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. You become part, like you're with these people so much of your time during the day that
hours and hours, man.
And the thing is, like Joe Rogan knows that because we saw his performance, and then me and my girlfriend went on the patio, and then I was like, I gotta take a piss. And I went to go take a piss, and he was just standing right there. And I was like, oh my God, this is my shot. Yeah. But I hate bothering people. And honestly, I normally don't get starstruck. I actually get starstruck more for bands that aren't even that big, like, Jonah from Far, Within the Ruins, and things like that. This was like the first time I was like, holy shit, it's Joe fucking Rogan. And I actually went up to him with my phone, and I was like, hey man, I know selfies are gay, but is it cool if I get a quick selfie? And he goes, selfies aren't gay, bro. And he knows that, like, I listen, I feel like I'm part of the family and stuff. And he brought me in, bro.
Them. Like, I was sometimes like listening to people like that. It's like I'd be watching like documentaries and shit. So or if you watch a show long enough, you feel like you know these people because you spend so much time with them.
Yes.
And it's weird because I couldn't imagine,
having people think that about you.
Not only that, but like I've always thought, if I ran into Joey Diaz on the street after all the shit, like,
he'd
don't
probably
take
hate
no
it.
shit. No,
he'd probably be like, what the fuck?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if I ran into him, like, how would I feel? Because I feel like I know him. Like, and so I just wouldn't want to be the guy that's like, comes up acting like I know him, but I really feel like I do, you know what I mean? But I would be respectful, obviously, but it's just a trip to, it's kind of like a what is that? Is it a two-way or one-way mirror when you could see through the mirror and
two-way
they can't see you?
Yeah, two-way mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Because, that's a funny thing to think about. There's so many people like that, are on podcasts and that are in these people's life all the time. And when they come up to them, it's got to be a weird feeling of being like, I don't know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Joey
Porn
Diaz is
stars have
different
felt
than
this way
Rogan,
for
though.
years.
Oh my God, man,
shit,
that was
damn.
great.
Sorry.
That was great.
That was very true.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
Fucking. Going back to actually what we were talking about before, but how do people sign up for the open mics and all that? Like,
It's first come, first
you
serve.
just show up with your
Doors
shit?
open at 7:30. If you're there, you get on the list. If you're late, you might get on the list. I don't know.
How long is each slot?
Musicians 3 songs, comedians 5 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
So it's just like it's not like full bands, like guitar, like
No, we did. Initially when I started it, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the sickest open mic ever. We're gonna have full bands come and play."
It's too hard.
Too hard, dude. You can't have a band load in, play, unload in 15 minutes. You just can't. So it's like it's mainly just singer-songwriter stuff. If you have a drummer, tell your drummer to buy a cajon or a hand drum and hang out on stage with you. If you have multiple people playing guitar, we can accommodate that, plug direct into the sound system, but it's not a full band thing. Sun Shower actually did a reunion set on my birthday, but that was for my birthday party. And that night was crazy because this open mic has been getting some traction. And there was a artist by the name Uncle Slump. He was from Chicago. He came and played. There was an artist from Japan who came and played.
Damn.
And so with the open mic, you never know what you're going to get. But with Rebel, even when there's nobody at the door, when doors open, somehow a crowd forms. And
This is Monday nights, right?
well, it depends. It could be a Sunday, it could be a Monday. Sometimes it's been on a Tuesday and a Wednesday also. It's just depending on the venue schedule because they obviously have acts coming in, and open mic is a free event, so they need to schedule acts that are gonna bring them money. You know what I mean? So
Do you ever perform at your own?
I open the show every night.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I play 3 songs,
And then you host too.
and then I host. Yeah, then I introduce every act.
That's badass, man.
Yeah, it's been fun.
You fucking invited me 100 times. I just gotta go.
It's all good, dude.
I'll make it there. I promise.
Like, open mic is something that I try not to do a mass invite to. I just kind of invite people that I think might be down to just come down to Rebel for the night. You know what I mean? Because if you're not performing, it's hard because you can get some amazing musicians and you can also get some whatever they want to call themselves, and it's just the worst thing you've ever heard, but it's so bad that it's good. You know what I mean? Like,
But also doesn't matter because sometimes people just working on material and stuff too, right?
exactly.
Even songs.
Well, with the
even.
comedians,
Well, even songwriters
Yeah.
too. Sometimes.
True,
you know
true,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
yeah, but you also get some actual living memes that walk through the door, and it's like, whoa, this really exists. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
that's gotta be awesome.
Which is why it's honestly, it's the best job I've ever had. They don't have to pay me much because I always have a good time, always. And what was I trying to get to? Oh, but to clarify on the night, it is a music open mic. I was having comedians come, and it was just a first come first serve thing, but comedians, when they hear about a mic, they flock in droves. You know what I mean? Which is good, but it's also bad because one night it was literally all stand-up comedy. There's only 15 spots on the list, so 5 minutes 15 for 15 people.
From like what 7? When the doors open?
7:30, and then the show starts at 8.
Okay.
And so that night, the show was done before like 10 o'clock, and everybody was out the door because when you're a comedian, you come do the open mic, and then once you're done,
everybody leaves.
You go to the other open mic that you're going to that night. So trying to figure out a balance. So what we figured out was Ross Dinsdale, he's a local comedian, also goes by the Raleigh Cowboy if you ever go to the Diamondbacks games. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do a 15-minute slot in the middle of the show where 3 comedians that come with Ross are going to have one spot each, and Ross is going to host this kind of mini showcase.
Oh, that's cool.
In the show. So there's still like fresh comedians coming in, but it's still, a music open mic, but I want to have a platform for comedians on the show because it's a real stage. It's a
fucking
legit
bad, dude.
venue. You know what I mean? It's not some
Dude.
corner of a coffee shop. It's a venue.
That's
So
a fucking legendary
Yeah.
stage. I don't know
Yeah.
if they changed it out or not, but the
it's
bands that
definitely
have
revamped. Yeah,
the bands that have come through that place are just
Metallica played that.
literally any band that you can think of that has
Yep.
made it big has played there. And
Absolutely.
Metallica should actually play there secretly under the Four Horsemen, like when
Oh,
they were
yeah.
big.
That's
just
right.
so they could get that club experience
Right.
again or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Oompa was the sound guy there, so
Yeah,
at the Mason Jar.
that's
for
right.
years.
He was telling me about that.
But
That's right.
yeah,
That's
so
cool.
Nirvana played there. Like, I mean, fucking everybody.
Yep.
That's the Rebel Lounge, which was the Mason Jar, is a legendary, to me, Phoenix club.
Is it still the same owner?
No. Psycho Steve owns it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It used to be Franco.
Oh, Franco.
I don't know his last name.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
That's right. I've heard. I mean, one of my coworkers, Donnie at Bizarre Guitar, he was in a band called Dogs that became Flotsam and Jetsam.
Oh, wow.
Jason Newsted
Yeah,
was
yeah,
in
yeah.
Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So I hear all these stories about Newsted playing at the Jar.
Yep.
And
Oh,
like
yeah,
having to corner the owner because Newsted was so fucking broke, and the owner wasn't gonna pay him. And he's like, "You're paying me my fucking money."
Yeah.
probably Franco.
He was notorious for that, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't deal with that shit. But Flotsam and Jessam actually, I think, practice in the Argo studios where a couple of my friends' bands
Oh,
used
cool.
to practice and stuff. So
Righteous.
it's kinda
Another
crazy.
local Phoenix music landmark.
I gotta take a piss.
Oh, you're
Have
good,
at it,
dude.
brother.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah,
well,
I actually
hurry.
will probably just check the time. And,
It's pretty funny how he brought up the Mason Jar after we were just talking about that too the other day. Man.
don't say synchronicity, asshole.
You just said it for me.
Let me check the time.
For all you out there, there's something I wanted to mention that if you're listening to this over the audio, there's some people that only listen over the audio, and that's cool and fine and dandy. But if you're listening over the audio and you've never seen a full episode on YouTube, go check it out. Go check out the YouTube site. Some of the episodes should only be seen on YouTube. But we release them as audio too, just so there's people out there that don't miss out. But some of these shows are so much better watching them on YouTube. So do yourself a favor and check out those. Couple quick shout outs. Big shout out to Mollicone Kennels. Thanks for coming on, and we're going to be working with them in the future. Here local out of Phoenix. Cool group. Awesome trainer, Guy Mollicone, out there doing great job. Dog obedience, rattlesnake training, bird dog training. Big shout out to Lotus Jiu-Jitsu Center and Strong Heart Jiu-Jitsu Academy, both who kind of friends of the show. And big shout out to the Absolute Geek Podcast. I know Matt's getting tired of me throwing these shout outs out there, but big thanks to those guys, Kyle and Matt. We're going to have those guys on soon. So again,
He
if
doesn't
you-
want shout outs?
No, he's always saying, "Oh man, thank you so much, and you don't need to do that, but I
Yeah,
do
we
need
did.
to
What the
do it."
fuck?
Yeah, they're good
Fuck you,
dudes.
Matt.
They're
We're
good
plugging
dudes.
your podcast.
I
Yeah.
walked in and did I hear rattlesnake training?
Yeah. So rattlesnakes kill so many dogs out here, right?
Oh, for dogs. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, how do you train a rattlesnake?
yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be fucking
No,
amazing.
no,
What
but
cool
yeah,
dog
our guest
For
training.
the
last
dogs, that
Sunday,
sounds
yeah.
much more practical.
Yeah. But sorry, real quick, just to end that. Shout out to Absolute Geek Podcast, the Flip Side crew.
Oh, you're
for
not in
those of you,
frame. You're good.
for those of you that are into comics and that type of stuff, check out Tales from CBSI presents Tales from the Flip Side. And if you guys are interested in comics, collectibles, action figures, sports cards, that type of stuff, go check out Collecting Days, DAZE, on eBay. The eBay store, Collecting Days, DAZE.
Fuck yeah.
Do you guys read comic books?
We do. I do.
What are you
Yeah.
reading right now?
So a couple of books that are my favorite books. I like Monstrous.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite books. Image book. It's probably
Monstrous?
Yeah, it's called Monstrous. Really amazing, gorgeous art, great story. You ever get into Saga?
I've heard of Saga,
yeah,
and I've
okay.
heard it's incredible. And there's been like a delay in the story being released, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like,
There's always at some point some comic will have a delay, but sometimes they end up being a little too
worth
long.
it. Oh,
But definitely worth it. Saga's
Yeah.
worth it. I'm really like this book called Paper Girls. I haven't been reading it lately, but I need to jump back on. But Paper Girls is really good. And then I haven't read it yet, but I hear the new stories being written for Uncanny X-Men
Oh yeah.
are absolutely amazing. They just started a new series, and I think it's up to issue 15. And one of my co-hosts on the Absolute Geek podcast is touting that right now, how good that new creative team is. So
Oh, cool.
I try to keep I keep a little, at least a toe or a finger in that world.
Yeah.
But how
because
do
I
you
try
do
to
that,
make money
how
off
do you
of
get
it.
your books though by keeping your toe in that world? Do you?
There's many ways. I mean,
Well, I know, but you used to get that box.
yeah.
Remember,
So
once a month of all your books. Do you still do that? Or
No,
do you
no.
That's
just
a
go out?
slippery slope,
It
dude.
is.
Because if you when I started collecting,
right.
I started collecting again like 6 years ago, and I was like, oh yes, give me this, give me Scott Snyder's Batman,
Yeah.
give me all this shit, everything. I want Batman, I want Spider-Man, I want the new Avengers, all new Captain America. I didn't go to the comic book store for about maybe 3 months. And I
walked into
show
a
up.
$200 bill, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
And what?
So what he's saying is you get these titles on your pull list, just like I was
Yeah.
getting that box. And if you don't pay your bill for a while and you walk in and you got a chunk of books there that you're due for.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
is.
luckily I was like, I can only take these 5 out
And
of
they're
the 20.
most people are cool
Yeah, they're
about
like,
it.
okay, because it's
Yeah.
like, it's not like I walked out of the store before I bought them. So,
Yeah.
but
You did bring up
yeah.
something I want to talk about real quick because I've let him read some of it, and I think it's probably. I talked about Green Lantern Rebirth last episode about how it's one of my all-time favorite storylines.
I read that.
all the way from Rebirth to Blackest Night. Right?
I
Anything
have yet
Jeff
to dive
Johns.
into that. I've been picking. I have the first 5 or 6 issues of the new Grant Morrison Lantern.
Yeah, and anything
Which
Grant
is
Morrison,
cool.
we were
Yeah.
talking about that. But you brought up Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman. There has been
Incredible.
nothing in the last, other than Green Lantern, Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run, nothing that touches that Capullo Snyder Batman run.
Insane. I have it from the start of Death of the Family until Scott stopped writing, or was
Issue
it
50, issue 52, I
Oh
think
wait,
it was.
then I probably have. I think I have it up to. What's the? Is it Endgame or is it?
Yeah.
It is
Endgame
Endgame,
is
huh?
Endgame, yeah.
Okay, so I have it up from Death of the Family to Endgame.
One of the
Every
greatest
issue.
Joker
Yeah.
storylines ever written.
Dude, insane.
The most. There's certain storylines where Joker is the true fiend, right? Everybody knows about Alan Moore and Killing Joke.
Right.
Ultimate Joker tale.
Yeah.
The essential Joker tale is Killing Joke. If
Mm-hmm.
you haven't read it, go read it. It is a short read. It is one of the best reads ever.
Very rewarding.
Yeah, Grant Morrison loves to do the Joker really cool. Anytime Grant Morrison does a Joker. But something Scott Snyder did with the Joker, turned the Joker, basically opened up a new page to the Joker. And that's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Because you can really fuck it up. And
Especially
the Joker,
for a character who's been around for 70, 80 years?
Yes.
80.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's 2 guys that just jumped on. Capullo had never done Batman, former Spawn artist, amazing, one of my favorite all-time artists. Yeah.
For 0 year, those colors are insane.
Cool dude. He's an Arizonian now.
Yeah.
He just moved up. He's living in Sedona. Cool
No
cat.
way.
Yeah,
That's
cool
what's
cat. One of the best artists in the game. Been one of the best artists in the game for a while. But him and Scott Snyder was a newbie at the time. I don't think he had really written anything other than a few small, fill-in books. And then he had done I think maybe The Wake. He had done just a couple like Iron Man Noir, stuff like that. But anyways, they gave him Batman.
Yeah.
And Batman was starting fresh. They were doing this new 52 thing where they were starting everything at number 1.
Yeah.
And it came out the box just blowing things away, changing storylines, but not ruining them, not ruining characters.
It was fresh, but it made sense.
the Joker, their Joker, and the first 10 issues didn't even deal with the Joker at all.
Not at
They
all.
they
It's
brought
Court of
it.
Owls.
Court of the
and,
Owls,
and the
yeah.
Court of Owls was such an amazing.
It's
that
so
whole
good.
run.
That was good too.
To
yeah.
have 50,
That's what should be the new Batman movie. Is
Yes.
just something
I was
like
just gonna
that.
say,
Yes.
why isn't that the new?
there, I think
will
that's
be.
what I think that's where they're going. They got to get a younger Batman. They got to
Yeah.
they got to do some things, and it'll be there.
Honestly, if they waited 5 years before they even tried to bring Batman back, I wouldn't be mad.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
give
with
it,
you.
give it a rest.
Yes.
Like, we don't need to,
And don't do the same thing. Just jump right in.
Exactly.
We already know his origin story.
Yeah.
Just boom,
Exactly,
drop us into
dude.
Court of Owls. Drop us right in.
I want to see
That'd
it
be bad.
starting. I want to see it starting at a crime scene.
Yes.
That he's investigating.
Yes.
With
Just-
Robin.
Get
A
Scott
Robin.
Snyder on the project. I mean, have
Yeah.
him be part of the script. And I'm sure he's probably doing that. I know he did that with Witches, and he did a comic that Brad Pitt swooped up even before the book got released because he heard so much
Witches?
good things. Yeah, it's called Witches. I don't know if it'll ever get made, but Brad Pitt bought the rights to it. But anyways, that Batman,
Yeah. It's perfect.
fucking amazing. That's the
perfect.
best way to put it. It's perfect. It is perfect. It's so good that it's one of the books that I'll keep trades around and just to hand to friends that aren't
Oh,
really into
nice.
comics and go, check
That's
this one
awesome.
out.
Yeah.
Check this
Every
one out."
every trade I've ever lent out, I never got back, and I'm not mad about it.
No, yeah, that's the cool thing.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
got to read
Yes.
something like Daredevil, Born Again.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Batman Hush.
Yes.
I think The Dark Knight Returns. Like, I gave all them out because, they're not obviously the first pressing of those issues. So
Exactly.
there's no collector value to that. It's
No.
just like, I want people to
Yeah.
that I can talk to about these
Yeah.
books is one thing. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But
And it's getting even easier because our last guest was talking about, he grew up a comic fan. He does most of his reading now on his iPad, right?
oh right, yeah.
And I know that there's a purist police that is going to jump on, the $10 comic cop is going to jump in and say,
Right.
I need to read my floppies. You know what I mean? I need to hold on to them. Cool. However you read them, I don't care. As
Yeah.
long as you're just
They're
reading
being
them.
read. The
Yeah.
art is still being supported.
Yes, because
Yeah.
that's a dying. It's teetering on the edge, and
You used to read them
Like
that for a minute,
guitars.
yeah,
Didn't you used to read them like that for a minute?
yeah. That's I
computer?
got yeah. Well,
I've got 200 issues on my phone right now.
yes,
Easy.
yes.
Easy.
Once I was able to torrent collections, I had every comic ever written up until like 2000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just cool just to have. But
Fucking
then
on my Halo connection.
yeah, fucking with your Halo. You're exactly right. They would be trying to land, and I'm upstairs downloading like 200 gigs of comic books.
Hey, do you like Gerard Way's Umbrella Academy?
Fucking love it, dude. I
Me
just
too,
just
man.
made $500 off of it.
No shit. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the first pressings and shit.
Yeah, man. I read that when it first came out. So I've been a comics guy forever, and I
Yeah.
was a fan of Coheed and Cambria.
Okay.
And Claudio did a book early on. He self-published it, and you can only get it at shows. And I jumped on that, and then they did a little Evil Ink press run on it, and they were hard to get. Well, I scooped them up, and I made some money off of them. I still got some. They're really hard to get. So when Gerard Way came out, I was like, I'm going to scoop those up. Well, I started reading
Smart.
them, and they're
excellent,
amazing.
dude. Yeah.
And look what they did in the perfect swap from the book to Netflix.
Yep.
Netflix killed it. Yeah. Amazing.
I need to watch that.
Dude, I watched. I had never read the book. I put on. Well, actually, I didn't put it on. We and my girlfriend partied hard one night. Woke up the next morning. I'm all hungover, and she clicks on the TV. She's like, "I'm starting this. It's something new." I was like, "Okay, look up," and it's like, how many children? It's like 50,
7, yeah.
Or, yeah, it was like 50 or on one day.
14, yeah.
Yeah, 14, and he gets 7 of these kids, and it's like, wait a second. This is working for me, and then and then it goes to where it's like, oh, this is like X-Men if Professor X was a dick.
Yes. It's very refreshing, man.
Yeah.
Very refreshing. And you know what it did? It turned a 50-cent book that I was picking up every time I saw him for 5
Yeah.
years into a $150 book
Yeah.
overnight.
Oh, after that first 10 minutes of the first episode,
Yeah.
I went to All About Books and Comics. I bought everything I could find on
Yeah.
it. I bought it was the 3 issues of Hotel Oblivion.
Uh-huh.
That's the latest run.
Yeah.
And I bought the first 2 trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
I read it, and I read those first 2 trade paperbacks probably 10 times each.
Yes, amazing stories. That's what is so great about the community of comics and art and movie and everything, once all these communities combined, and you have somebody who like Gerard Way, who whether you like My Chemical Romance or not, they were very talented musicians.
They were
and
a titan of a band.
Yes.
They were
Huge.
Yeah.
And
when the Black Parade dropped, you couldn't walk into a room without it playing.
Yeah. And here's a guy that basically hasn't done much music, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna make a badass comic because I'm a comic fan. I'm gonna do what I love." And
him and Grant Morrison are good friends, and they've done some books together, right?
I don't know if they've. I know that Gerard Way was doing the Young DC stuff.
That's right.
And so Grant Morrison might have been doing some stuff
Probably
with
mentors
him.
kind of stuff. Yeah, because I did read an article. It was just basically a picture of them hanging out, and they're like, "Yeah, we're hanging out."
Yeah. Grant Morrison's probably the coolest creator in comics. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
He's for a while there, he was writing the Flash movie, and I heard that kind of fell through.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things fell through for those DC movies, man. It's just, all Warner Brothers really had to do was just have faith in their filmmakers, just like Marvel did, and that's it. Maybe have somebody who's like Kevin Feige kept everything tethered together, but he let his creators have their freedom. Yes. And that's the most important part. Say what you will about Zack Snyder's universe. I think Man of Steel is a masterpiece, honestly.
I liked it.
Yeah. And
I think Henry Cavill's the best Superman.
Absolutely, dude. He's awesome. But with Batman v Superman, like, I watched the Ultimate Cut. I went and saw the theatrical version 3 times in 3 days because I wanted to like that movie so bad. But the theatrical version was a disaster. The Ultimate Cut, not only are most of the plot holes kind of filled in that movie, but it flows better. It's just a better movie, and this is going somewhere. And I just wish that they would have just let him have that freedom.
They should have done that for that whole universe.
Exactly.
I mean, as soon as they did that with every movie that came out almost, other than from the Nolan movies. It started after the Nolan movies. They let Christopher Nolan do amazing work with Dark Knight, and then after the Nolan movies, they wanted to get their fingers in everything. And they would start with the director, they would start with the script, they would film more than half of it, and then they would stop and go, "No, we're gonna change it."
They're saying things, and we.
Well, you know what's fucked up is
when we gotta no. It's like,
after the Nolan movies, though, I felt kind of misdirected because Nolan had a huge like producer credit and hand on Man of Steel, and I kind of felt like he was like
that led to a lot of confusion, thinking that Christian Bale was going to show up.
Well, not just this. I didn't care about that, but necessarily I just thought it was like, oh wow, it's like in good hands because Christopher Nolan's producing this, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then he actually, I don't think his name's on anything after Man of Steel.
No, it's not.
So he was probably like, fuck this shit. This is a disaster too.
And he knew where it was going.
Oh,
probably.
for sure. Yeah.
And it's hard to take somebody who's that big of a creator in that world and in other areas around him show that you're not.
I wonder how much hand he had in the Man of Steel, though. I wonder how much.
He probably didn't have a ton, but I bet you he had enough.
Yeah,
enough to get that credit.
What's funny is, The Dark Knight and Iron Man released the same year, and Iron Man released with already a decade's worth of planning for a universe, and The Dark Knight was about. The Dark Knight universe. That's our world with a Batman that would most likely, if it went down, that's how it would go down. Yep. That's not a superhero universe by any means. Iron Man ended with saying the Avengers Initiative. Yeah,
let's get superhumans in.
Exactly.
Here. Yep.
So, I mean,
it was cool how it ended. Did you see Avengers yet?
I did. I was.
We don't need to get into the.
We actually have to wrap, dude. We're actually 4 minutes over. Real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, we're good. I just wanted to actually ask you a quick question, real quick, about where do you get your comics? Is that one comic shop?
All about books and comics. Yeah.
Word.
On Central and Camelback.
I didn't know if there's any way. Is there?
No. I go to All About all the time.
No, I mean like.
And go to also Drawn to Comics in Old Town Glendale is also one of the best shops in the state for sure.
Right on. Yeah, because I didn't know if he could get comics. From
there's a bunch of
he
good
sells
shops.
Comics.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. That's why collecting days on eBay. I started buying collections and selling and doing this, and if I spend enough time getting up there, it's fun. But
this is the comic guy, dude. He knows fucking everything about it. So I'm glad you guys were able to.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Talk about that.
It's been a pleasure.
So Yeah, dude, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Is there anything else you want to plug? Do you guys have any shows coming up or anything? Or?
This Friday at Quail Lounge, it's a dive bar. Just come drink a pitcher of beer and listen to some rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
Weird Radicals and Dom's flexi disc release.
You got anything coming out after that, show wise?
No, because we just bought. Well, we have a space that's kind of like a storefront in a way. That's going to be our new rehearsal pad, and we're calling it the Rad Lab. We're going to be working on that. We're going to be working on a new album that we hope to be putting out on Burger Records once again. And yeah, that's our plans for this summer. No more shows for a little bit, unless it's like something that we got to be on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we did South by, and then 2 months after South by was just shows. We probably played 20 shows in the last 2 months. So
Wow.
maybe like 15.
Time to start creating again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
And this will be the first release with this lineup because Banger's Ball is the tape that we released on Burger Records last year, but that was written a year prior to its release. So this is going to be us, after all this experience together, we're going to write a record, going to put it out, and that's that.
What's the best and easiest way for people to find your music? On Spotify, you think? Or
Spotify, Apple Music. Weird Radicals, no weird code names or nothing for the tags, just Weird Radicals on everything. Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. We got a Twitter, but I mean, whatever. Fuck Twitter. We're not really on it. So, yeah. Listen to our music.
Check it out, yeah.
Our latest release was with Chris Kirkwood of the Meat Puppets. He produced and played bass on the song called Medea Redux.
Fuck yeah.
And it was recorded by Jeremy Parker. I think that's his last name. I'm really sorry if I fucked that up. Over at Premier Studios on 15th Avenue and Indian School.
Fuck yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on, taking the time, man.
Yeah, I had a great time, dude.
Game of Thrones night and shit.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
going
to war!
No, I don't want to get you on time. Isn't it a new episode tonight?
Yeah,
It
fuck
is.
yeah,
Oh,
dude. It's
yeah.
coming out here shortly.
It's the fucking episode tonight. Dude.
Yeah.
God
Hell
damn.
yeah. And but anytime if you have a show or you want to come on, dude, you live up the road, dude, and we do this every
Yes.
Sunday. So
Okay.
if you have something you want to promote or just talk about, get off your chest, you can fucking come over, dude. I really, really want to get more bands on here and promote
dude,
musicians.
I'll
If you
bring
know any
Drew
other
with
bands,
me. I'll bring
Yeah.
I'll bring the guys with me. It'll be a party.
and if you know even any stand-up comedians and shit, like I'd love to
I
get
do.
some comedians. I have a stand-up comedian friend right now. He's on the road, but like I would love to sit down and just fucking pick their brain.
I've met several awesome comedians in that community that would vibe very well with this. So
Fuck yeah,
Very
tell 'em about the Bogcast.
as long as I get to come hang out with them, then it's a
Of
deal.
course.
Yeah, dude, bro. Of
course, man.
All right, man. So I mean, this is just so I could, for editing purposes, the sound, because I suck at editing. All right, this is the Bogcast, episode 6. Do you have anything else you need to say?
No.
Don Rizzo, you got anything? No. You want to plug something? All right, Bogcast, episode 16. That's a wrap. All right, brother. Thank you so much. This is where the outro music kicks in and shit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That was
good,
fun.
brother.
That was good.
Yeah, that was actually perfect, man.
Bang!